Good morning, profit takers. Let me check my mic. Good morning, profit takers. All right, so sounds like we're live. Okay, so I was not planning on going live, so I'm totally not prepared for this. But I wanted to just review some of the trades that I have set up today with the profit taker alert dashboard. All right, so we're looking at, right now we are looking at US 30. I know the markets are not technically, well, the banks are not open, but you know, this thing is still moving, y'all. Still moving. We did get the signal on Friday. Got the signal Friday that, you know, we had a low, and so the expectation, even though it's a holiday, you know, oftentimes these setups can still work out. So, and it did. So, and usually whenever there's a holiday, the markets will start to die down at noon Eastern time is what I've noticed. So, what else worked out today? NAS is also one, but we can see, of course, this one is really not moving at all. But it's going to set up first tomorrow. No problem. Let's see if gold also is same thing. Looks like it's still going to break down first before we're going to get the opportunity to go long. So I'm going to be on the lookout for that tomorrow. The dollar Swissy was also a 1 day. Actually, it's not a 1 day. This one is actually 4 days. Let me go to a bigger picture so you can see. So we are actually 4 days. Let's see here. And if you can see, just because we were 4 days out from the peak, it only hit, well, the time we got to the markets today, it hadn't quite hit 280R. So this one, I definitely was looking at it to go short just because of the fact that we had just hit it. And the opportunity came. So I got into this trade. This is M5 that I'm looking at right now. I got into this one right here. This little area here. We had the M pattern, break of structure. That was a beautiful entry. That's where I got in. Dollar CAD is another one. Let me see, where is it? Just going through my list here, guys. Let's see, dollar CAD. Dollar CAD is 2 days from the peak high, and looking at, so basically in the video that I put out over the weekend, we always want to find out, okay, when was the last time we saw we had a peak and how many days, right? So technically it was the 3rd day from Thursday. So today's the 3rd day. So I was really expecting this thing to continue to drop before it gave us an actual reversal. However, will it hit 380R today? I don't know. It may reverse slightly and then go into consolidation, you know, before it clears it. But we had an excellent trade today. Isn't that crazy? Both of these banks, the dollar and the Canadian, are closed today, but this was a beautiful setup and I took it. So if you're on M5, which is really one of my favorite places to enter now, another area I got in was right here. So we had the break in structure, and then we had the pullback, and then we had the retest to the high, which broke the structure, and then I was in. Okay. let's see, EuroCAD also set up as well. However, this was one of those pairs that you can get lucky in New York and sometimes you just don't. But this one was definitely one that you could have rode from earlier in the trading session. If you were able to get in early, it would have been a good entry. It did give us 3 pushes down here as, you know, New York opened. Still the setup played out. And again, this is day 2 of since the new peak. And you could technically continue to ride this thing until tomorrow, until it starts to reverse. Okay. What else did we have? The pound CAD, same thing, looks just like the Euro CAD. Same thing there. And GJ, I used to like stay away from this pair. It used to be just too much for me to handle. And I was like, but now guys, I'm feeling like this is really an excellent pair to trade. But just like, you know, the other earlier pairs, I feel like if you missed it, I think you just missed it for the day. All right. But it's printing a beautiful second leg W for us right now. And we're long. I mean, it is 2 days technically from the peak, which was on Thursday with the peak low retest. So I do expect this thing to continue to push and take out Friday's high. Obviously that is ideal. That's what we want. Good morning, Junior. Welcome. Thanks for joining. If you have any questions or anything you want to drop in the chat, I'll be happy to answer what I can. I don't ever really get on during the session because I'm usually deep in the heart of trading. But today is a holiday and the trades that I did take were so easy. I was like, man, I don't have any meetings right now. Let me jump in. So that's what I did. This is not even a pair that I trade, but tell me how beautiful is this setup? One day after the peak high, today was the trade. Again, this is one of those early London pairs. I mean, that drop was just beautiful for London. So bravo to you if you caught this one, if this is even one that you even look at. The cool thing about the profit takers indicator is it doesn't really matter. You don't have to be stuck with 1 or 2 or 3 pairs. You can look at all of the instruments at a glance and then go and narrow it down on which one you want to trade. Analysis on GU, yeah, it's long. All right, let's look at GU. So this one, Friday, again, Friday was crazy, wasn't it? So we had no, it's not a retest, actually. This is a peak low. Okay. Hold on, guys. I got to sneeze. All right, I'm back. Okay, so GU, also long. Friday gave us both a peak high and a peak low. Of course, you know, price hit both ends of the market, and usually that sets us up for a nice little parabolic trade on the next day. Especially when you know which direction you're going, it really helps. But you can see here that we have an identified, you know, of course, last week's low, and then it was a previous month's low, right? And with this knowledge, I already knew that, okay, we got some strong support here. So, and then we're in the middle of this particular range in terms of the ADR, and I do expect it to take out Friday's high, last week's high, previous day high, you know, whatever you want to call it. So I did take this one long as well, just because of that. And this pattern pretty much did it for me, because, you know, Friday, you know, I thought this was going to go a little bit further up Friday, but it just didn't. It's fine because it was news. And so we're going to have a lot of news this week. So you want to make sure that you trade after the news or before the news. If you're in London, you can totally trade in the session of London and not have to worry about New York's news, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this is long for now. Again, here's 1, 2, and 3. So the third day, Friday, you can either look for a reversal or continuation, and it did both. It gave a reverse at the beginning of the session, even before the session. So it came down to the previous month's low and got support, and then that was it, right? So now, you know, because this pattern showed up, I was definitely looking to see price come down probably a little bit more, but it didn't. It's fine. It just came to the London session. If I look back, that's where it went. And sometimes, guys, if I have such a big gap like that, I'll look and see where are the other areas, where was the low of the other previous sessions that I can borrow from, so I can use that as where I can look at for support, because we know the market's either going to break out and trend, break out, reverse, or it's just going to do nothing. Like right now, gold is doing nothing right now. It's just going flat. All right, US 30. Yeah, that one's also long. Like I started off the session with this one. This one, same thing. The peak reset on Friday. And again, we had the peak high and low parabolic setup for today. And you can see here, we had one hit to the low of the day here. Here was the second one, and then kind of an attempt, but not really. So you could do, because this is still also the range, this is M30. So let me go down to M15. Oops, that's M5. Let's do M15. So you could go ahead and identify the high and low of the session, and you can use, I don't need to do an end of day really with consolidation. I mean, obviously this was probably it here from the swing high and low, but since the market gapped, right, opening, we just fell in that range from the open of the session. So this is like the opening range right here. And what we want to do is wait for price to break out at either one of these ends, whether it's going to break out and trend or break out, fail, or do nothing. So and we can see the stair step here. Of course, if you're a trend line trader, then you would obviously be waiting for that tap there, and then of course this is the pattern. This is the pattern that we're looking for. It's the W pattern, the second leg, and here is where we would enter. I would totally enter. We go to M5, and we can see here even better. Anytime I see this right here, because this is, I don't know if that's what they call the apex. I don't know what that's called, but that's like, you know, the middle of, this is the W, the pin of the W, right? So that's where I would mark it off, and then I would wait for price to come back there, and then I'll enter from that. That's how I would do it. Okay. This time frame I'm looking at right now is M5. Hey, Douglas. M15. Still looks beautiful, don't it? Yeah, it's bullish. So this little, this is like a part of this market alerts indicator. Whenever it draws this little box, it just basically is like confirming the break of structure, and then continues to support the trend. Okay. Again, let's see. It's almost 10 o'clock Eastern time. I mean, typically you can trade this US 30. I mean, I've seen it trade till noon, and then it starts to kind of taper off. But because I was already looking to go long, and you know, if I'm in here early and I'm taking this trade, I'm pretty much almost done by now, right? I'm pretty much almost done because I got what I wanted. Now, would I want to have it take, you know, I may just leave an order on and just let it ride, right? Because I'm expecting it to take out Friday's high. right? So you could do two things. You can put that order on if you hadn't already gotten into the trade, then because right now it's pulling back a little bit, obviously, on the so-called market open, right? I don't know, but I'll definitely leave a trade on, because we can expect for the next day, because this is day 1, day 2, and day 3, for it to go long. Yeah, it is beautiful. Right. So let's see what other trades showed up today. Euro USD also showed up as a peak high, and that played out just for the earlier sessions. Once you see price hitting the low 3 times, it's a wrap. Okay, don't try to force a short trade when it's not. Okay, short trade already played out pretty much. So this one could definitely go back to the high of day and then get some resistance. But for right now, EU, we're on that third leg, 3 hits to the low. Let's look at AU, which is also a long market, but it's been, go to M30 so we can try to see a bigger picture here. You know, this one has been on the rise. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days since the actual peak. We still haven't cleared the ADR, and you know, again, same pattern that we got Friday with the, I guess it's the EKG pattern. It's like, I guess it's where people say it clears the board, right? So, but again, right, what do? We want to identify the area, the session high and low, and we want it to either break out trend, break out and fail. Probably don't need to use that one, but definitely London. Let's see how nicely it's breaking out of the London high. And we want it, it's doing exactly what we want it to do. It just needs to keep pushing through, right? All right. Okay. Those are probably some of the best trades. I mean, S&P is also long. We've already looked at gold. I was thinking gold is going to pull back and then, you know, go ahead and give us an opportunity. But right now, it's pulling back. Might pull back all the way till yesterday's high. Who knows? Okay. Let's look at UJ. If it would let me look at UJ, there we go. Oh, look at UJ and gold looking the same. Both of these are pulling back. Well, that's great, because then now it's going to give us an opportunity. And that's what we want. Always looking for the opportunities that the market gives us. Doesn't mean that's necessarily going in the direction that we want it to, as long as it's going in the direction that we can trade and we understand. If that makes sense. Okay. All right. Did I talk about the year? I did talk about EuroCAD. This one, I love it when price is so clear. Okay, so last week, I'm gonna do a little, this is the open range for last week. And we're always looking, you know, Monday, typically speaking, Mondays are gonna give you high and low session trades or day trades. unless it's specifically, if Friday was a peak, a new peak high or low, or if Friday was a signal day, then you could expect a nice continuation for Monday. But typically it's just high and low trades, or it's just doing nothing. Tuesday, you always want to identify, you know, what we call the initial balance high and the low. And you just draw it out for the week. And you can see how nicely we got support off of that balance area twice for the week. Okay. And then on Tuesday, it gave support for the W formation on the second leg right there. So I did a video on this. It's in the locals. Actually, it's also, is it in YouTube? Probably. Anyway, so the idea here is you have 3 days of previous day highs that you want the market to take out, and then that can help you also with anticipating when the trend is going to shift. Okay. And it did that very nicely. This was just like the dollar CAD as well. Okay. All right, guys, do you have anything else for me to look at real quick? I'm about to wrap it up. I'll wait a few more seconds. My coffee's getting cold. Well, if I can do these things during the session like this, I would. I just don't, because I'm usually trading, so I don't like any more distractions that I already have. But since today, all the trades that I was looking at played out early, and so I decided, you know, that was all I was going to do. And it's also a supposedly bank holiday, right? With all these markets moving so nicely. But tomorrow, just watch out, because it's always a good day to trade also after a bank holiday. So just keep that in mind. So with that, if I don't see any more questions here in the chat, guys, I'm going to go ahead and call it a session. Okay. Appreciate you all. Absolutely, more wins. Thank you for being here. So unexpected. You guys are very supportive, and I really appreciate it. We will see you all in the next live. Ciao for now.